8 episodes, we started with the question most people never have thought to ask. What is the tissue your body is built on? Not the muscles everyone trains, not the bones everyone can see, the material underneath all of it. The web that holds the whole thing together. We followed that question all the way down into the biology, into the nervous system, into the emotional body, into the strange science that most researchers are not willing to say out publicly, into the ancient frameworks that were mapping this tissue for thousands of years before anyone had a name for it. Today we bring it home because information without application is just very interesting. And I didn't build this series to be interesting. I built it to change how you work. Let me give you the complete picture in one place. Fascia is a continuous connective tissue web running through your entire body, from skull to soul, with no gaps, no breaks, right? It's made of a collagen rope, elastin spring, and a structured biological gel called ground substance. Living cells inside it, fibroblasts, constantly rebuild the tissue based on the mechanical signals they receive. You move, they build organized, pliable architecture. Stay still, and they build stiffness. It contains more sensory nerve endings than your muscles. It's one of the primary ways your brain constructs this picture of your body, where it is, what it's doing, whether it's safe. When it's restricted, those sensors become hypersensitive. The signal to the brain distorts, and the brain responds with more tension. Then the cycle runs. It organizes your movement in fascial chains, lines of pull running head to toe, that contribute up to 50% of force output in certain movements. It stores emotional experience in tissue. The patterns of chronic stress, unresolved trauma, and prolonged threat response are encoded in the connective tissue as holding patterns, as armor. It generates electricity under mechanical load. It conducts signal through liquid crystal collagen matrix at speeds that may exceed neurotransmission. The water inside it exists in a structured energetic phase, right? It emits coherent light as part of its communication network, and the ancient traditions, Chinese, Hindu, Hebrew, Hermetic, were mapping this system for thousands of years under different names. Chi, prana, the etheric body, that is what you're made of. That is what you've been training in your whole life without knowing it. Now that you know, what do you do with it? I want to redefine something. The word transformation gets used a lot in fitness. It usually means before and after photos, body composition change, weight loss, right? Muscle gained. And those things are real, they matter. But they are the surface layer of what transformation actually is. Real transformation, the kind that holds, the kind that changes not just how you look, but how you move, how you feel, how you age, how you carry yourself in the world. That transformation happens at a level of the system, not just the muscle. The tissue the muscle lives in, not just the body composition, the facial recognition, the hydration of matrix, the quality of signal, the release of the armor, the restoration of the field. A body that has been truly transformed looks different. Not just lean, but organized. Not just muscular, but integrated. It moves differently, fluidly, with an efficiency that doesn't match what you'd predict from the external appearance. It breathes differently. The diaphragm moves freely. The rib cage expands in 3 dimensions. It holds itself differently, not from effort, but from structure. That's the body on the other side of this work. And getting there requires understanding what the work actually is. The work operates on 4 layers simultaneously. Layer 1, structure, moving the tissue, hydrating the matrix, loading the fascial lines intelligently. This means training in 3 dimensions, not just sagittal plane, pushing, pulling, right? It means spiral patterns, diagonal patterns, rotational patterns, patterns that load complete fascial lines from origin to insertion. It means varied tempo, slow loaded stretching to hydrate the ground substance and allow the layers to slide, and fast elastic loading to train the recoil, the spring, the kinetic storage capacity of the tissue. It means consistent movement throughout the day, not just an hour in the gym. Fibroblasts are listening all day. They don't care about your workout if the other 23 hours are still. Now, layer 2, signal, cleaning up the nervous system input. This means addressing restrictions at their source, not just treating pain at the symptomatic site. It means working with the fascial lines to find where the chain is actually stuck, not where it's hurting. It means breath work because the diaphragm is the center of the fascial system and the primary interface between the voluntary and autonomic nervous function. How you breathe is how your nervous system is organized. So change your breath and it begins to change the state. Layer 3 is emotional. This is the layer most training programs never touch. The armor has to be addressed. The holding patterns encoded in the tissue over years of chronic stress, unresolved experience, and unfelt emotion don't release from the strength training alone. They require a different kind of attention, slower, more deliberate movements that ask the tissue to soften rather than produce. An environment in training, in coaching relationship, where the nervous system receives the signal it hasn't received in years. You're safe and you can release. This is the layer where transformation becomes something more than physical, where people cry in the sessions they didn't expect to be emotional, where clients say, I don't know what just happened, but something shifted. Something shifted because the tissue let go of something it has been holding for a long time. And what releases, when armor releases, is not just tension, it's energy, attention, aliveness, presence. The things that were being used to maintain the guarding become available for something else. Layer 4, the field, the most subtle, right? The most often ignored, the quality of the fascial field. Its coherence, its hydration, its electrical organization, its photonic clarity, responds to the things that don't show up in a training program. Sleep, because the matrix rebuilds during deep sleep. Collagen protein synthesis peaks, ground substance rehydrates, the field reorganizes. Hydration, because easy water is not just lubricant, it's energetic medium, right? Environment, because biophotonic field is not isolated. It's a relationship with light, with nature, with the electromagnetic environment you live in. State, because the coherence of the field tracks with the coherence of the mind. Chronic distraction, chronic stress, chronic fragmentation are registered in the fascial matrix, just as chronic stillness, chronic presence, chronic attentiveness are also registered. The field responds to how you live, not just how you train. Here's what this series has been building toward from a coaching perspective. The body is always talking. Every physical presentation, posture, movement quality, breathing pattern, pain location, holding pattern, fascial tone is information. It's not random, not arbitrary information. A client who walks in with rounded shoulders and a collapsed chest is not just tight in pectorals, right? Their thoracic fascia is restricted, their breathing is shallow, their nervous system is in chronic partial threat state. And somewhere in the history of that body, there is a reason the armor went up. The client who moves well in a sagittal plane, strong squat, strong hinge, strong press, but falls apart in rotation, has fascial lines that were never loaded in that plane. The gym built them in 2 dimensions. The fascial system doesn't know the third. A client who trains hard, recovers poorly, holds tension constantly, and can't seem to make progress that should be coming given their effort may be in a chronic sympathetic state that the training is reinforcing rather than releasing. They don't need more intensity. They need a different signal. Reading all of this accurately, precisely, without projection is the difference between training a body and transforming one. The body does not lie. The question has always been whether the coach knows how to read it. Practical and concrete. Here's what the tissue needs. Water. More than you think. The ground substance is gel. Gel is mostly structured water. Dehydrated gel creates adhesion. Most chronic tightness is partially a hydration problem. Drink water like it's medicine because for this system, it is. Next, movement variety. Your fascia organizes itself around the patterns you repeat. Expand the patterns, the tissue expands with them. Same movement, same plane, same tempo, same range every day produces organized stiffness, not strength. Slow, deep loading, right? Long holds in the end range, 3 to 5 minutes, not 30 seconds, allow the ground substance to adapt, the crystalline structure to reorganize, the layers to begin sliding again. Most stretching doesn't hold long enough to do anything to the tissue. Elastic loading, plyometrics, ballistic movement, rebound patterns, training the spring, the connective tissue, elastic recoil that contributes up to half your power in certain movement. It has to be trained or it atrophies. Use it or it goes. Sleep, non-negotiable. Collagen synthesis peaks in deep sleep. The matrix rebuilds at night. Poor sleep is poor fascial maintenance. Next, the breath. The diaphragm is the center of fascial system. Free the diaphragm, free the system, right? Restricted diaphragm, every fascial line downstream is under altered tension. Learn to breathe with your whole body and it changes everything. So I want to say something directly. Most people will never think about their fascia. They will train muscles they can see. They will treat pain where they feel it. They will blame age for stiffness that accumulates. They will carry the armor they built in hard years without ever knowing it can be released. They will live in a body they don't fully understand, and they will never know what was possible on the other side of understanding it. And this isn't judgment. Most people were never given the framework. Nobody told them, but you have been told now. 8 episodes, the web, the material, the signal, the mechanics, the emotional record, the living field, the ancient witness, and now the work. You know what you're made of. You know what has been storing your history. You know what organizes your movement. You know what the ancients were seeing when they mapped the subtle body. The question now is simple. What are you going to do with it? The body doesn't lie. The soul negotiates and the spirit decides. You spent 8 episodes learning what the body is actually made of, what it's been carrying, what it's been trying to tell you through every pattern of tightness, every chronic pain, every restriction that training alone never resolved. The soul negotiates with all of that, finds reasons to wait, to be comfortable, to address it later. The spirit decides that the body it has been given is worth understanding, worth caring for, worth the slow, consistent, unglamorous work of releasing what it's holding and building something more organized in its place. That work doesn't start Monday. It doesn't start when the circumstances are better. It starts with the next decision you make about your body, which begins now.